Silence. Hear me now. If I Errol Barrow could talk today, I got something to say. Why? Raise your flag, but open your eyes. If I Errol Barrow had to speak today, what I see would break my heart away. Nothing changed, just a mirror frame, same corruption, just a brand new name. My people, I'm sad to say, you reaping all you sow today. The pride and industry fade away, and now we fighting to find we way. Life at two extremes, I tell you so. Hope and hunger, high and low. Poverty mixing with champagne flow, but poor man still can't grow. Suffering and celebrating, starving while them still partaking. Nations rise, time to break that spell. Stop showing contempt for yourself. Say you can't change when thieves lead the way. Corruption sweet when give us pay, and government take what poor man lay. Taxation high like mountain peak, while schools and roads still spring a leak. Them flying high, them living sleek, but poor man vice still 2 weeks. So tell me now, who you blaming? Who make the system shaming? Them raise the dead, destroy the cane. No migration needs the pain. You will lead us like the clay, and now me are playing God today. Talking sweet but turn away from the people who make she laugh, she bend and smile she wear like she care, but she can't share. You think she love, you think she fair, or she trying to run you from here? Errol watching from up above. Budgeons where the unity and love we used to build, we used to fight. Now we just beg and say alright. Let we rise again, take back pride, build Barbados from inside. And I, Errol, gone back to sleep again. Errol, but I pray next time I wake, my people go rise, rise, I say. Bimshar still alive. Boy, you sell it. Boy, you sell it. Bimshar still alive. We just need to revive. Bimshar still alive. We just need to revive. Yeah. Yeah. It's time to rise. The truth is calling. Hear the cries. Answer the call. We stand tall. United together. We won't fall. The time has come. Hear the sound.
I'm asking the government, are you paying the African nurses hundreds of dollars more, perhaps, than our local nurses? And is it fair?
Justice and freedom, we demand our rights. Across the land, we ignite the light. I do believe we must hold them accountable for every weak promise. We make it insurmountable. No more lies, no more deceit. Together we stand, we're rising to our feet. They talk of change, spinning tails around, but every political party passes blame brings us down. The people's voice, they try to drown, but we'll march together, no backing down. From the streets to the villages, nook and crannies, we'll take it to our stomping grounds, no ifs, ands, or pandas. Power to the people is the battle cry. Divided we fall, united we'll fly. I do believe we must hold them accountable.
It is patently wrong and probably unprecedented to use the public resources of the state to further the private political interests of an individual. The National Conservation Commission is facilitating the foundation in using the public space at King George Park as a political stage. The partnership between the state entity and the foundation is more about politics and public relations than the progress for the people of St. Philip. I want to say without any hesitation that it is not right to use the government's resources to launch a political campaign. This historic park and beloved space have suffered from inconsistent maintenance and the failure to deliver the promised free Wi-Fi. We will see the lights go up, speeches made, photos taken, and the season ends with the same issues at the park. These government resources would have been better spent on a conservation strategy that goes beyond showmanship. The people in St. Philip deserve more than seasonal attention. Meaningful assistance is not only measured in December, it's measured in sustained support, transparency, and consistent improvements.
I come back to transport now, because we're on the social services, and directly opposite me is the honorable member for St. Michael Southeast. Do I look afraid to you, sir? I'm not. And the honorable member for St. Michael Southeast now has to give account to the people of Barbados for another threat. A threat to close a service that has delivered to poor people in this country for the last 70 years. What say this government? What say this government to the people in Pinelands? What say this government to the people in Pie Corner and Belle Plaine? What say this government? What say this government to the people in Bayfield who can pay $3.50 and get to town, while Uber is on its way and it will cost more in an Uber taxi to get to town? This government has a lot to answer for. This government is on trial today, and I'm going to prosecute this government. How do you plead, government? How do you plead, government, about the plan to further impoverish the poor in Barbados by casting oppressive bus fares on them? How plead you, government? You are guilty, government. How do you plead? How do you plead, government? Who brought Uber into this country when an attorney general got up here 2 weeks ago and admitted that he knows the numbers of taxis that are signed up to Uber? How do you plead, government? You are guilty, government.
For me, it's policy first, because I understand now, especially at my age, that policy is going to affect the rest of my life. So it will determine how I am able to build financially, my career, and everything going forward. I don't think they understand that politics affects them in that way. It's about your financial stability, your career, your life, whether you want a wife and kids or husband and kids and a house of your own. All the little things that go on, that change, that we don't pay attention to, are the things that affect whether we can or can't afford these things in the future. How can I afford to move out? And it's things like that that we have to be cognizant of and thinking about when we vote. And we should vote, because not voting is still voting.
Correct.
If you don't vote, you are not exercising your power
You're right.
to participate in your future. And young people need to understand that.
And I also subscribe to the view that, yes, there's nothing wrong with aligning yourself with a party, but remember that before you align yourself to a party, you are a Barbadian first. And you should think about that in regards to how the country is going, rather than just supporting a party blindly. Like you said, look at the policy, because the policy is not only going to affect you, it's going to affect your children and your children's children. Fellowship of a party, you need to ask yourself, is this good for Barbados? Is this good for my children? Is divesting from the transport board, how is that going to affect my children and my grandchildren? When you take up the retirement age, how is that going to affect my children and my grandchildren? You know, when you don't invest properly into healthcare, how is that going to affect my children and my grandchildren? But at the end of the day, honesty and good policy should always win out. Then you should put that above any form of loyalty to any party. And that's all I really want to say to my young people.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DLP TV. This is the Thursday edition. The last clip you saw there was the young people. What we've done, we've turned Tuesdays into the night of the young people. Not that we're old people. This panel would resent it if I say that, but the young people are doing very, very well. So well that we have asked them to have their special night, and their special night is Thursday. It's Tuesday, I'm sorry. Our night is Thursday, and we're here tonight to look at the topic, a simple topic with grave consequences quite often, the question of voting and exercising your right to vote. It appears as if it is a feature of modern societies that they tend to vote less. The more modern a society becomes, people seem to disengage from voting. I don't know if that has to do with people's belief
that they can survive without the state. But in Barbados, a lot of us still depend on the state. Perhaps we take it for granted in terms of the provision of social services that we get here, and sometimes we take those services for granted and we do not inquire into the origin of those social services. That those social services are quite often, or the quality of those social services depend on the quality of the government that you have in office. And so sometimes if you wish to improve the delivery of those social services, perhaps sometimes you need to change your government. And so we want to encourage people to vote. We want to encourage people to vote in Barbados when the time comes. We want to encourage people in the diaspora to come home and vote. And while on the diaspora, thanks so much, Shirley. Shirley is a regular viewer and contributor to this program. Shirley came all the way from Canada and attended our gala dinner. And Shirley, it was really a pleasure meeting you, hugging you. And I think you would have gone back to Canada yesterday. That's not a national secret, is it? Shirley is back in Canada. There's Vihoy who writes to us from New York. There's Lemuel Tull who writes to us. I think Lemuel is in Barbados. I get the impression Lemuel is a St. George man. I don't know why I think so. But let us discuss voting tonight. We've brought along a very distinguished panel as always. I'm going to start to my immediate right. Paul Gibson is our candidate for the constituency of St. James Central. Paul is a pharmacist, a very well-experienced pharmacist in this country. And while I say that, Paul, I pause for on a sad note and acknowledge the passing of another pharmacist, Henrik Connolly, both good friends, good friends of both Paul and myself. Paul spoke at the funeral. Very sad occasion last Saturday. I haven't seen Abundant Life that full in a long, long time. So Henrik was a much-loved person. I want to say condolences to Henrik's wife and family. He was a young grandfather. I remember Henrik coming to our day camps with the children, with his grandchildren. Really wonderful human being. We go back to Wesley Hall days. He was older than I am, but I was close to the family. I really was close to the family going back to the days of primary school. Wesley Hall boys, we were. So condolences to Henrik Connolly's family. And Paul, it's good to hear you on Saturday. Good to see you on Saturday. I heard you spoke well. I couldn't be there for that. But welcome to the program tonight.
Thank you so much. Good to be here again.
Thank you. To Paul's immediate right, I think he is the best known Barbadian politician across the globe. And this gentleman's videos are in China, I suspect. I suspect so. Jason Phillips, the man who is dominating not only social media, the man who is dominating St. Peter. And I had the pleasure yesterday in Parliament to mention your name and to mention your name to your opponent. I'm not going to call your opponent's name, but you are the toast of St. Peter at this point in time. And I say to people, look, whatever they say about the videos are about real people. And real people are willing to come on your videos and to show themselves expressing support for you. There's something happening in St. Peter. We want it to happen all over Barbados. We want your success to infect the success of all of our candidates. Jason, you're doing remarkably well in the North. Welcome to the program.
Good night, Conrad, leader and president. You are much too kind.
No, I'm not. I'm realistic.
Good evening, good people of St. Peter and by extension Barbados. Tonight you are in for a treat. It's going to be hot.
Good. To Jason's right, I don't know if this gentleman is willing to be hot tonight. But he was hot during
the truth.
Good. He was hot during the St. James North campaign. This young man, young father, young medical doctor, young husband, I think he preaches at church sometimes. I know he plays the music at church, his church in St. Philip. Look, if every mother had a choice of a son, it would be Dr. Elvis Wickham. Doc, welcome.
Thank you, Comrade Leader. Good night, Barbados. Good night, fellow panelists.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Well, as I said, we're going to be, gentlemen, discussing voting, exercising the right to vote. And I wanted all of you to, let's answer the basic question, the basic first question. You're talking, Jason, you go to somebody in your constituency, let's say 22 years old. That's when people tend to be fairly cynical about politicians and voting and so on. And you have to tell him why he should vote. What are you going to say to him?
I say that voting is how citizens choose who make decisions about jobs,
Excellent.
healthcare, schools, and the cost of living. It is the single most effective way to hold power to accountability. In other words, this is your opportunity to remind those who have the reins of power that is the people who actually has the real power. And therefore, you should not take it lightly. You have to exercise that power of voting, put in that X, because you are giving a group of people 5 years to determine your future and perhaps the future of your grandchildren.
Yes. Yes.
So do not take voting lightly.
Nor for granted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, people died for this opportunity. There was a time that women could not vote.
That's right.
There was a time that we, as enslaved Africans, could not vote. So, whenever the general election is called, Barbadians, we are going to vote as though we are voting for our lives. And we're going to vote. We want as many Barbadians to come out because it's imperative, right? We must hold this Barbados Labour Party-led government accountable. And people are very, very dissatisfied. And I'm going to stop there for the time being.
Doc, it is difficult following excellence. And that was an excellent answer. I know it's difficult for you to add to that, but you're the doctor in the house. There's always a cure.
I would encourage persons to vote as well, because the decisions, the actions of elected officials affect every aspect of our daily lives. You often hear, I'm not voting or I'm not going to vote because it will make no difference. My life is going to be hard just the same. But the decisions and actions of elected officials affect every aspect of our daily lives. The decisions and actions of the present government are why we are driving on bad roads. They're why we can't afford to buy groceries. They're why gasoline is more expensive. They're why just generally the cost of living in Barbados is high. Quite frankly, they're why the crime rate has spiraled out of control.
Oh yes,
as well. So that it is important to have a say in who those elected officials are, because what we have in the case of not voting, and I know we'll come to this a little later, is guaranteeing more or less more of the same. And this point I'm sure will be made many times tonight, that we do not want more of the same. So voting, I think, is particularly important because their decisions and actions affect every aspect of our daily lives, and we need to have a say in that. And as I said, I'm sure we will come more to talking about the current administration and the things happening.
Yes. Paul, you have the hardest of the jobs here. I mean, these two gentlemen have spoken so eloquently.
Yes.
Is there anything else for you to say on this?
Yeah, I like to pivot on voting as a way of stamping your impression on something. And in this case, I like to refer back to the history of Barbados. Because when you look at the history of Barbados, you realize that, as Jason correctly said, there was a time when you had to be of a particular hue to vote. Your skin color had to be the right color.
Yes.
And then after that, you had to own land.
Yes.
If you didn't own land, you could not vote.
Yes.
And then if you were a woman, you could not vote.
Yes.
And there was something called a struggle, and lots of blood, pain, gunshots, and so on were fired to fight for this vote. And you know, I don't know if people understand the value of a vote and the struggle that we went through to get it. So when people, you know, say I'm going to take $100 or $300 to my vote, the whole thing is messed up because it completely invalidates the struggle, the women, the old, the bloodshed, the gunshots, the death associated with the struggle for voting. And I think that it is time for us to remember how we got here in the first place,
Right.
and then recalibrate our compass.
Right. Paul, you raised a very interesting issue.
Yes.
This question of money.
Yes.
inserted into the exercise of voting. It's happening.
Yes.
I've run before, and on election day, people do come. And let's be frank here, people, young men walk up to you and say, look, I want $300, and I got some fellas down the road. Okay, we'll take $250 each, and they attempt to barter with you.
Yeah.
The whole thing has become so vulgar that what do you say to young men? I mean, the money might come in handy, but what do you say to a person who decides on election day that he wants to sell his vote? You probably don't want to say anything to the politician who buys it, but what do you say to the young men? Because they're real victims, aren't they?
Yes. That a government which has ensured persons remain poor or in positions of desperation, then comes to take advantage of that desperation by saying, here, hold a couple $100 and give me your vote.
Yes.
Desperation, I say, because when you think it through, the vote is, okay, you vote for the particular person who paid for it, only to spend the next 4 or 5 years smelling hell.
Yes.
At the hands of that same individual.
Yes. Yes.
At the hands of that same individual. But they're taking advantage of the desperation persons are in to just get quick cash, because things are particularly hard out there. So persons will take quick cash, not really think it through that beyond the day and the $200, which will be gone before the end of the week, beyond the day awaiting you is 4 to 5 years, depending on how long, before the election is called, 4 to 5 years of significant hardship and really not paying attention to your concerns.
Right.
So they are devaluing you, the person, by offering the money or by agreeing to pay for your vote. At the end of the day, that $200, $300, $350, whatever it is, will be gone in very short order. And what you can look forward to for the next few years, in the case of the current government, is years of hardship and cost of living. That, as I said, the cost of living in Barbados right now will kill a dead man.
Jason, the doc speaks of the hardship that inevitably follows after you purchase the vote. I want you to focus, though, on the prosperity that seems to follow the person who purchases the vote and finds himself in government, because that's an investment they're making.
Listen, that is an excellent question. I have raised this on the campaign trail. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Barbados, anyone that offers you money for a vote is a very vulgar person, because the transaction happens there and then. All you are getting is that transactional money, and you're actually putting that person in a job for 5 years. So you barter you give that the so-called person that would cause you to take money to vote gets 5 years in office at a premium salary, and you get breakfast money for a morning.
Not only the salary, corruption often brings them into sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars.
Exactly. And it goes back to the 19th of January 2022. You know that voter turnout was 42.97%. That is the lowest ever in recorded history of Barbados. In fact, it was below 50%. We have never had voting in Barbados below 50%. And you asked a specific question, but I even want to take it a little further. Why would a government hold elections at that time?
In the middle of COVID.
At that time.
The doc normally has so much to say about that.
That continues to be very vexing.
Oh yes.
And in fact, I call on the Prime Minister of Barbados to explain why she did that. In direct violation of the Representation of the People Act, which guarantees every eligible voter to have opportunity to be able to vote. Why have your election officials?
But why was not a promise made that it would not happen?
Yes. But we have seen more than once an ease with which the said politician goes against their word. And I'm going to come back to that as well. But it was done at a time when you had thousands of persons in quarantine. And EBC official at the time clearly said, if you are COVID positive and you're in quarantine, isolation, you will not be allowed to vote.
Yes.
People of Barbados, our constitution, the Representation of the People Act, guarantees that every eligible voter should have an opportunity to exercise that right to vote.
You're talking
Remember,
about
this election,
constitutional law,
this election was called 16 months early, with the provision for an additional 3 months in the
Yes.
event of a state of
So there was
emergency.
no urgency.
So you could have
There
gone
was no
19 months. There was no
constitutional
constitutional urgency.
Yes.
It was done in an act of pure selfishness, and the people of Barbados need to demand from the Prime Minister an explanation for why thousands of Barbadians were robbed of that franchise right that you spoke of, that was, it was so hard earned to get to that place, and it was so easily done. She didn't blink.
Yeah.
It was pure political advantage, selfishness. You robbed thousands of Barbadians of that right to vote for purely selfish reasons. It was not necessary. At that point, no provision made. Barbadians were told if you were COVID positive in isolation, you would not be able to vote. And I will keep talking about it because that is something that we should not quickly forget. That here we had a sitting prime minister who was willing to take from Barbadians their right to vote in a predominantly black country, knowing our history and how much blood was shed for that right. She so easily took that right away from persons and has never addressed that specific point, as far as I'm aware. Why was the election called then? And provision not made when in other Caribbean countries, and indeed countries around the world that had elections during COVID, provisions were made to allow persons to exercise that right. If a democracy is taken seriously.
Precisely. Paul, should we find it disturbing that some political commentators never paused to condemn the action as Dr. Wickham is condemning it? That, in fact, some of them may have applauded it and said, "Oh, that's
it was a brilliant move. Yeah, brilliant strategy.
That's brilliant strategy." I mean, have we become that diminished?
I think we were in a time when we had what I call the red opium all over Barbados after following 2 elections. People were in a stupor. No one was speaking. No one was saying anything when they were supposed to speak.
Yeah, certainly weren't saying anything critical of
They definitely were not, especially to this critical point that Elvis made. Unfortunately, I think that the Prime Minister at that time was all about the win.
Yes.
She was all about grabbing power. And the constitutionality of an election, the rights of a Barbadian, people being 8 to 11,000 people being locked away in COVID, and some of them at home. It wasn't the matter. Her eyes was on the prize of winning an election. Now, what I realized about the lady is that she tends to be very duplicitous when it comes. She says one thing. I mean, I realize nowadays that everybody is pulling backup videos of Prime Minister Mia Motley. They're pulling them all back up. And seeing her saying one thing, and then saying something and doing something else, and then saying something different, and so she's playing this 3-card game, and I think Barbadians are beginning to feel a bit duped. They're beginning to feel a bit mama guide,
they're no longer impressed.
They're no longer. I think they're seeing her saying one thing and representing something else on the other side, and then trying to explain it. Now, as I said, she has never explained what happened in COVID. There was absolutely no reason, and I think
there was every reason not to do it.
There was every reason not to do it, and she could have held off. There was nothing to lose. There literally was nothing to lose at the time. But I think Barbadians were disenfranchised, and she needs to be called to board for it. She never gave an account of that.
Quite frankly, I would say in a democracy, that's disqualifying.
Yes.
If you're going to take democratic norms seriously, that is disqualifying. You took away the most sacred right and did it practically with a smile on your face.
If I would add,
please.
I think that the actions of the Honorable Prime Minister was voter suppression.
That's what it was.
Voter suppression.
In essence, it was.
We all know that when we have a high turnout in Barbados, the Democratic Labour Party wins election.
But people were so timid that nobody thought of constitutional action before the court, because your argument is so compelling. Here was my legal mind thinking, But if I'm disenfranchised in the ways that you spoke of, could I not have brought a constitutional motion before the court and have some aspect of that election invalidated, if not the whole thing? Some large class action suit by a lot of the citizens who were disenfranchised, could they not, well, I should not ask you this question, this is a legal question, this is rhetorical. Could they not have gone to the courts and say, look, I've been disenfranchised, a new government is in office and I had no part in the election? That's just a legal thought.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
But people were timid, you see.
Yes,
people were
yes.
timid
People were
then.
timid,
That's what I'd like to ask you about, the timidity of people at that time.
Yeah, it unfortunately, I think, falls in line with the general timidity of Barbadians. We have hitherto put up with a lot, and I dare say we have hitherto put up with too much.
Yes.
And that needs to change. More needs to be demanded, expected of our elected officials.
Yes.
And quite frankly, when you do not deliver on promises and deliver as should be expected, you need to be fired. You need to be fired at the voting booth.
Yes.
At the voting booth.
Yes.
But I do remember at the time, you know, one of our local constitutional law experts pointed out, you know, in an article and discussions with one of the local newspapers, that a case was definitely there to be made before the courts.
Yeah.
So,
yes, definitely.
There's no
Definitely.
there's no COVID now. Is that perhaps why other people are now allowed to come into Barbados freely? Remember, these other 3 Caribbean nations are allowed to come here freely,
The freedom of
and then
movement.
they might be able to vote too.
Well, that freedom of movement thing seems to be collapsing after the loss by the St. Vincent government, former St. Vincent government. I think that may be a little imperiled, but we'll have to wait and see
Okay.
how that goes. Let us move the discussion to something more specific. I think I was talking to our director just before the show began, and I was asking him if it is a fact that more women than men vote.
Is a foul.
But there are more women than men. So does a higher percentage of women vote than do men vote?
Yes.
And if that is so, why do more women vote? Why do women vote more than men?
I have an opinion on it.
Yes, I want to hear you.
Yeah, one thing that I realize is that a lot of women are administrators.
Of the home?
Administrators of homes, sometimes businesses, people's shops and so on. And they're sensitive. Women have a higher level of sensitivity to how their children feel,
Yes.
how women feel, and so on. And so they're nurturers.
Yes.
And I think they have a feeling they feel a sense of responsibility when it comes to voting and this kind of thing, because they're saying, I need to make a stamp on this election. I need to come out and say something because children are hungry, bus fares are going up. I can't afford food in the supermarket. You know, I can't afford clothing, school clothes. I can only afford 1 pair of shoes this term. Or in the case of a lady managing a store, they're realizing that the taxes are going up and people are buying less. And so I believe that women feel more engaged and responsible. And so they step forward and say, here's my ex. I am going to make a mark on this paper to suggest the direction that I want this thing going.
Make an X and make a difference.
Make an X and make a difference.
Yeah.
And I think more and more persons are realizing. And by the way, I want to add this here a couple times tonight. When you go into that booth and place an X, whether somebody gives you money or not, nobody knows who you are voting for.
Correct.
Nobody
Yeah, we need to
knows
emphasize that.
who you
Yes.
are voting for. Remember that. Money or no money.
You can take money from the DLP, which is your money anyhow.
That's
because
the taxpayers'
and
money.
go vote for the DLP, can't
Vote-
you?
yes,
Well,
yes,
you
yes.
have to tell the people
Yes,
that.
yes.
Take the DLP money and go vote for the DLP. You get better management of the country's affairs.
Yes, and I'll tell you something. The more people that understand this, the less pressure they'll be under from political parties to take money and to try to vote for that particular party. There's no need to. Vote for who represents you properly.
Yes.
Votes for who uplifts your family and puts you in a better position financially, emotionally. Vote for those who can manage crime better.
Yes.
Under DLP government, we never had crime levels. We've never seen numbers like this in the history of Barbados. So women are mindful that their daughters may be affected by rape, Their
Yeah.
children may be affected. They can't go late. They can't take a bus late at night. And so these are things that affect women, the sensitivity of women.
Yes.
And that's how they were made and constructed by God.
And that impels them to vote.
And that impels them to step forward and vote. Yeah.
Elvis, your view?
Yeah, I think similarly, the fact that many women head households and they're aware, as I said earlier, that the decisions and actions of politicians will impact how they are able to manage those households. That dollar that has to be stretched 50 ways and so on. Yeah, so that's my suspicion as to why.
I'm smiling because it is rare to hear a man in Barbados say women hate households. A lot of men don't believe that, you know.
Many women head
So you're willing
households
to
in
admit that on the
Barbados.
LPTV?
Yes, I'm willing to admit many women head households in Barbados. I know our
And as a married man, you
tradition.
don't mind admitting
I
that.
have a problem saying wife is the boss.
And you're the neck. You're the head and she's the neck.
Right, there you go. I have no
Just
problem
make
saying
sure
wife is the
things
boss.
go well.
You know.
Yes.
Okay, Jason, why are women voting more than why do women not vote in us?
Women often vote more because they are more connected to the everyday services. For example, healthcare, schools, social support, and so on.
Yeah, they're the ones up front
Right.
with children's issues, health, and so,
And
schooling
they
and so
feel
on.
directly connected to public policy. I dare say this.
Excellent point.
I dare say this.
Excellent point.
This,
Directly connected to public policy. I like that.
yes,
Women.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I dare say this. This government has managed the affairs of this country so poorly that I, without a shadow of a doubt, Barbadians are going to speak with their heads. They're going to get rid of this government. Because when we look, they have divested the transport board. Under the Democrat Labour Party administration in 2008, we ushered in free transportation for school children.
Yes.
Imagine a mother with 3 children to go to school. She don't have to bother herself, spraying her brain about finding money to get that child to and from school. And now this government, this Barbados Labour Party government, DLP government, is now threatening Barbadians to get rid of the transport board. You can imagine the pressure that's going to put on parents.
Yes. Let's go to the board because Dr. Wickham said something and I think he's getting a lot of response. That's SW saying thanks, Dr. Wickham, for your honesty. And then Stephen Strickland, he's saying something very interesting. Women even head the household, even though well, that's
there's a
true.
man.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I think
I should really add here as well, even though we're saying, we're asking the question, why do women vote more? One of the things we must affirm is that there are men who are very passionate about the issues in Barbados as well.
Yes.
And more than ever, I've been hearing men coming onto the Brass Tacks program and really declaring that they're not happy with this and not happy. And some technical guys that would never normally go onto the radio are saying, no, that's not how it goes. This is how it went. And they're actually helping the Democratic Labour Party to tell the truth about and give us a support surrounding the truth about a lot of the issues we're discussing, water issues in St. Lucie, the issues happening in the hospital, right? Medical records department not opening on, closing off early, food prices, issues with fishermen on the beaches not being able to fish and do what they apply their trade probably. So a lot of men's issues are also important, but we know that women have a higher proportion of voters, and we're calling up more men to come out and vote. And because they understand what is happening, a lot of women go to those men and say, listen, I need a few more dollars for the children. This money you're giving me is not enough. And they're doing that because it really isn't enough. And there is also a burden on men to provide for families and so on. And so they're the underpinning sometimes for a lot of families and what happens in a household as well.
it's so fascinating to hear a panel of 3 men telling the public that women are the heads of the household. And let me pause.
I didn't say that.
You're departing from that?
No. I believe women are administrators and leaders
Well, I love this. So we have a different opinion at this end of the sofa.
I think men
the dot is saying the women are the head of the household.
Yeah, so the manager
Jason is saying they're the head of the household.
Yes,
Let's hear Paul Gibson.
Yeah, I think women are excellent managers. I mean, I think of my wife. My wife is like, she's the star girl.
You're backing off, Paul.
No. I'm just saying that the leadership of, and this is where this comes in now to, I believe that men are leaders. Like, men are made to be leaders, and they've been tasked with that responsibility. And when you have a woman that knows how to run a household and so on, she makes everything goes beautifully, smoothly.
I'm getting you in trouble.
Yes, you are.
Let me back off.
Let me do that.
Because I think you have to go
I have to go home after this. Yes. Well, women are wonderful.
Yes, that's where you pause
Yeah,
the
I
discussion.
leave it
Women are
there.
wonderful. I'll leave it there. I will go home tonight safely. All right, we've talked about women voting. I was talking to the director before the show began, and he was saying that when men come out in large numbers, the Democratic Labour Party wins.
Yes.
I don't know why. He did not say why, did he? But obviously in the next election, we're trying to get women out, men out, young people out, everybody.
That is obvious because already we said that women vote in large numbers because they are concerned about policy.
Yeah.
And when we get men voting in large numbers, ultimately we get a large voter turnout.
Yes.
And once we get a large voter turnout, we know that the Democratic Party is going to win because Barbados is DLP country anyhow.
Pretty much. So we've talked about voting. Let us talk about apathy, not voting. What is the cause of this apathy that has spread across Barbados in the last few elections? How do you explain that?
There are a few reasons. And I want to say I get a lot of the reasons why persons don't want to vote, or why they may say things like, I'm not going to waste my time. Nothing is going to change.
Yes, you hear that a lot.
You hear that. Nothing is going to change.
Yes.
They've seen broken promises from politicians on both sides historically. But many persons now are saying nothing is going to change. All politicians are the same. I don't have any faith in any party, and how is that going to help me? How is that going to help me pay my bills?
Yes.
But because they would have been made, Barbadians would have been made a lot of promises. We even have promises of islands being constructed off the west coast.
Yes, that's right.
We can't handle this island that we're on, but we plan to build more islands. Barbadians were made lots of promises, and they have lived to see these promises broken.
Yes.
They have lived to see a Barbados Labour Party government that places the interests of wealthy and overseas over that of ordinary Barbadians. And I do not apologize for saying that. Because if you had the interests of ordinary Barbadians, average Barbadians at heart, you would pay attention to the things that concern us, not only after you have been called out and a lot of public pressure has been raised that you then decided to walk back. If you had the interests of Barbadians at heart, you wouldn't have looked to do the whole Down Civic Center what you did.
Precisely.
If you had the interests of Barbadians at heart, you really think that if a poll right now is done, a properly done poll across Barbados, that majority of Barbadians would be okay with what happened at Gemmisley? Absolutely not.
Absolutely
you
not.
Give away land that you could have gotten tens of millions for to a bank that has multiple billions in assets, and on top of that, you give that bank tax-free diplomatic status in Barbados. You really want to believe that majority of Barbadians will be okay with that?
Elvis, they also gave the chairman of the bank our highest national award.
Yes, I saw that recently. And I'm like, on what basis?
On what basis?
What has he done for Barbados?
Precisely.
We can suspect what he's done for individuals,
we're not going to say
but we're going to leave that there.
Yes,
we're going to leave that there. But what has he done for Barbados to deserve her highest national honor?
Precisely.
What has the bank done for Barbados to deserve being given such valuable real estate that belongs to Barbadians?
Strong handshake.
Belong to Barbadians. What has they done to deserve getting that?
So he went to receive an award together with Joel Garner, and we know what Joel Garner has done.
We know what he's done for Barbados and the West Indies.
Precisely. What has this gentleman done?
Nothing.
I don't know. I don't know.
Nothing.
So you can see why persons then would be apathetic, disinterested in voting, because she came in with lots of promises. And all Barbadians have to show for it crumbs and a lot of hardship. Ask ourselves, Barbadians, whatever we feel about how things were between 2008 to 2018, and by the way, the Prime Minister recently admitted on the floor of the UN General Assembly that there was hell across the world in 2007 to 2008.
Yes,
She did.
She trips all along Barbados, giving the impression that it was DLP mismanagement, but she recently admitted in her opening remarks at the UN General Assembly
heard it.
that it was world crisis,
Yes.
that caused world conditions that caused serious fiscal crises for multiple governments around the world,
You're absolutely
including,
correct.
by the way, the DLP government in Barbados at the time.
Yes.
So she made various promises, and Barbadians are seeing now those promises being broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being
Yes.
broken.
Yes.
She's operated very differently from what she said, and we're seeing our interests taking a backseat. We're seeing a government lying to us about the content of the interception of communication.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So how could they have our interests at heart? So a lot of this.
You want to know why they're
So Jason,
apathetic?
Dr. Wickham is saying that one of the statements you hear is nothing is going to change. Again, take you back on into your campaign. A young man or a young woman tells you quite cynically, "Oh, nothing is going to change." What's your what change would you, as a representative for the St. Peter constituency, offer if he says nothing is going to change? Look at St. Peter. You know, I know you love this.
Oh yes, it tickles me.
Your videos. If he
Anyhow,
tells you nothing is going to change,
but I said to
you
a
keep all
group,
them potholes down there.
you can't get a smooth road in Indian ground yet.
There we are.
No basketball.
There we are. Talk to the people and tell them what's going to change.
Good people of St. Peter, I speak to you specifically, but the rest of Barbados can listening. We have a member of parliament for St. Peter. He's part of this government. And people are crying out for poor water quality in St. Peter Alley in Basketball. If you could show me one smooth road in Indian ground,
Not one, Jay.
not one.
My goodness.
I had to raise my voice.
That's fine. That's fine. When you get angry, raise it.
I'm angry. I am.
Don't say the other
I am
word.
frustrated. That's the S word. I'm frustrated that we have a sitting member of parliament on the government side, and nothing is being done for the good people of St.
The
Peter.
infrastructure, call the name of the alley, Centipede Alley in where?
In Basketball.
In Basketball.
Listen,
I thought Basketball was a BLP stronghold.
listen, no party.
Or they taken for granted.
They have been taken for granted.
So he assumes that they will vote BLP.
No,
with
it's
the
not
worst
gonna,
roads in
it's not
St.
going to
Peter.
happen again. It's not,
Not
going
gonna
to
happen again.
People are very upset. Listen,
Jason, you know what you've done? You have just caused the MTW to go down to Basketball within the next month and fix Centipede Alley.
you meet tomorrow night.
But tell the people in Centipede Alley that the repair to Centipede Alley is as a result of this show here tonight.
It happened already.
At what? 12 minutes to 8.
Yeah.
The
Listen,
decision was made to change, to fix the road in Centipede Alley.
listen. You cannot do any worse, St. Peter and Barbados, when you have a member of parliament who is afraid to speak to the government on your behalf. And he had 2 terms in government, you know. And no one come for a 3rd term.
Precisely.
They can't do no worse. I am not in government yet, right? And I'm getting more done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Indirectly
Yes.
or directly.
You can't lose. Only imagine how it's going to be when you elect me as member of parliament for St. Peter. And it's going to happen.
Jason, I watch your videos. We want to visit with you. We want to do a mass canvas with
Beautiful.
you, actually. There's what comes out of your videos is a very obvious discontent because we have not seen citizens willing to show their faces and to express their views so openly. Why is there such discontent in St. Peter? That's what I'm trying to...
Because St. Peter has become the forgotten parish.
Has it?
Speightstown is a town in name only.
In name only. Yes. They desecrated Speightstown.
Oh yes. A town shall have basic amenities. Where is the 24-hour medical facility for people? You need to tell me if you get an asthma attack
In town, in
at 2
Speightstown.
a.m. In fact, I have it on video. In Gordon Miles, St. Peter, I'm not going to call the people name.
No, don't.
This lady suffered an asthma attack.
Where she had to go?
and she died because she could not breathe,
I'm
waiting
sorry.
on the ambulance.
I'm sorry.
That's sad. And the Morris Bay Polyclinic is a stone throw away.
What time that closes?
Supposedly
6
in the evening.
In the evening, yeah.
And opens at what time?
8 in the morning.
In the morning.
Doc, you ever had a spell down there?
No.
You never did.
But there's absolutely no reason why it cannot open for 24 hours. I dare say it shall have an ambulance bay with at least 2 ambulances, and perhaps an accident and emergency facility, and about 3 or 4 wards. I want to ask you a question. In COVID, we had a medical facility in St. Lucie with the state-of-the-art
Yes.
equipment.
Yes.
What has the government done to that?
This is the one that's housing the migrant workers.
Yes.
This is the one
Construction
that
work.
they borrowed 110
They can't be a caring government if they do that to the
European
nonsense.
Investment
Yes.
Bank to build a hospital.
Yes.
A
Yes.
fully
The same
functional
one?
hospital.
Yes.
What they did with the money?
Where do the equipment?
That too.
And why are the people in the north suffering? The QES is standing on one leg. That facility, or even the Morris Bay, if it's upgraded, could take the pressure off of the QEH.
But look, we have to tell people this is not mere politicking. The people of Barbados borrowed $120 million from an international
Repeat
bank
those figures
to
again.
build a hospital. $120 million. Doc, it was US or Barbados?
A lot of money. A lot of
It's a
money.
lot of money.
A lot of money.
To build a hospital.
And we had one. It
And
was
we
a
had
fully
one.
functioning
Precisely.
hospital. It
So
was
the
a fully
hospital has
functioning hospital,
disappeared.
capable of surgical procedures even.
gosh.
It was an intensive care facility,
Yes.
multiple beds. It was a fully functional hospital. Why is
Ventilators.
it housing, construction,
Well,
foreign construction workers
workers.
and equipment?
Well, I said,
use that
this is
QEH
not
is-
mere politicking.
No, it is not.
This
I-
is the interest of Barbadians suffering as a result of government's
Bad
breach of loan
policies.
agreement
Yes.
Bad
Yes.
policies too.
Yes.
and breach of a promise made to the people of
And
Barbados.
I could talk for the rest of the night about the horror stories in the healthcare system, polyclinic and QEH, because I see the clients. I am aware there are real horror stories. It's
you
not
don't
just
mind
like the
telling us about
minister.
some?
Yes, do that.
Persons waiting 5 months and longer with serious medical problems to get appointments, to get equipment.
Yes.
Persons spending days in accidents and emergency.
Yes.
That's true. That's
Persons
true.
And
dying of
some-
treatable medical conditions when they are in a hospital, a tertiary care facility that can treat said medical conditions. But for various reasons, they're not being treated. I'm talking about persons developing conditions like metabolic acidosis.
You know, Doc, you're saying this. You're a medical doctor. The Minister of Health is also a medical doctor. And he's not talking about these things. But here's Dr. Wickham on DLP TV talking about them. And unless you talk about these things, Barbadians don't know.
You know why? And I hope I cross you. With the Democrat Labour Party, it is people first and party second. If you do not have the interests of your citizens at the forefront, then you are wasting time. Not only money, you are wasting time because you must ask yourself, why have I taken this office? And it goes back to voter apathy, because then people begin to lose trust. When a government do not act in the best interest of its citizens, people lose trust.
Yes.
And that's what causes
Lose trust in the government or in the system?
the system,
The system.
The system.
and ultimately the government too,
So the other part, we would suffer as a result.
Yes.
Because people
Yes.
say, look, you're all alike.
Yes, yeah. Because we have for too long allowed a system, in talking about health, we've
Yes.
allowed a system for too long that has seen politicians loyal to their leader and their party
Yes.
more than they are to the constituents that they were elected to represent.
Precisely.
And I always talk about what the returning officer is. I now declare X the duly elected representative for the constituency of St. Peter.
Peter, yes.
St. James Central.
Yeah.
They don't talk about for the Barbados Labour Party or for the
Correct.
Democratic Labour
You
Party.
represent the
You're
entire
elected to
population.
represent
Yes.
people.
Yes.
We have seen in this administration on a level not seen before, we've seen MPs more loyal to their leader and their party to the people they
yes.
represent.
Oh, yes.
Why would
Yes.
St. Lucie MP tell people pay for water that they can't use?
Precisely.
Don't our biggest thief to say a word to the Minister of Water Resources, we know who that is,
Yes.
not represent his people,
Yes.
but
Yes.
instead loyal to the PM, so you keep quiet.
Yeah.
St. James Central MP only spoke about the whole town after the interested
yes,
party
yes.
withdrew. Then he suddenly found his voice.
Yes.
I haven't heard any of them speaking about what happened at Gemmis Lane, which is a matter that I am sure, as I said just now, a majority of Barbadians would have serious problems with. I don't hear them representing the voice of their constituents in that matter, loyal to party and leader over their constituents.
Yeah. We ever found out the value of the land at Gemmis Lane? Because we need to keep this in the minds of Barbadians, that not only did they give away this land, but the value of the land. And Elvis, you know what used to be housed there? The
Yes.
Ministry of Education.
Yes.
Ministry of
Ministry of Health headquarters, before that,
first
decades
hospital.
back, hospital.
One of our
Yeah,
first hospital,
yeah. And you just hand it to somebody.
So
to
it must
do
be
what?
tens of millions handed to a bank that has multiple billions in
And to
assets.
do what, Doc?
Yeah.
To build a hotel
It is
and headquarters.
poor use of land space.
Precisely.
Because what we could put there, even in terms of, I mean, I am not for building hotels all over Barbados, but there's the amount of capital that represents. It's a waste just to put a bank on it, and the history associated with that spot. I mean, that's where I and many nurses and there's a medical facility next door.
Yes.
The medical profession, that's the incubator for a lot of medical and a lot of output. That's where it happens in that spot right there, and we're losing all of that. The eye clinic was just across the street, you know. But
Heritage.
we talk about, I mean, as I listen to these lovely gentlemen here, I'll tell you something. I can understand why people feel apathetic. And just for those listening who don't know what apathy is, the word is a Latin word, pathos, which means feeling, and a means no, so it's no feeling.
No feeling.
So it is really that people have no feeling
Yeah.
about
Excellent.
about politics and so on. And you know what? It's because they have lost hope.
Trust.
When people lose hope
Yes.
and lose trust,
Yes.
they just turn away and say, I don't want to do it anymore. And you know, I am so happy though to say tonight that for the first time in a long time, I'm feeling a wind in the sail of the Democratic Labour Party
Oh yes.
as
Oh,
it
yes.
relates to how we feel about injecting hope back into Barbadians.
Yes.
Because it is that time where Barbadians could say, listen, here's an opportunity for me to make a change and to make a difference. I do not have to feel hopeless because of what the Barbados Labour Party is doing. I can make a difference by voting for a Democratic Labour Party who will get back to the fundamentals of the Democratic Labour Party, which is pulling Barbadians up
Yes.
into the middle
Yes.
class,
Yes.
which is bringing education, which is strengthening healthcare and health services. These are things that we built this country on. We had a tremendous relationship with our international partners and so on.
Yes.
And we built bridges and connections with the Andrews International School and so on for our education. Right now, parents are losing hope and feeling apathetic about the school system.
Yes. Yes.
No, we are taking pride in the fact that the classes are getting small because we are not producing enough. But even in the classrooms, parents are not getting what they are paying taxes for. And I think it's really time to just say that Chad Blackman is, I would say he's a stillborn Minister of Education. That's the only thing I could say, because
You could jump me there. I thought you were going to say something else.
no, I'm so disappointed in what is being purported, as opposed to getting back to the fundamentals of education. Nobody wants a bill from an education minister. They want to make sure that there are persons that have a learning disability or a physical disability or some impedance to learning and progressing is being addressed directly. This is where we want the energy. This is where we want the focus. And that's not what's happening.
I love how you trace the meaning of the word apathy and back to loss of hope. Do you get a sense that the government is investing in apathy, that the government wants there to be apathy, that the lower the numbers, the better it is for the government?
Yeah.
You know that feeling?
I really think that,
I mean, the lower the numbers of voters.
Of voters. It could be a strategy. It could be a strategy.
Keep the people at home.
Keep the people at home.
Yes.
keep them in the COVID hospitals and
yes,
so on.
yes.
But
keep them frustrated.
But what is really happening, and I think this is what people are realizing, is that they really don't know what they are doing. There is so much bungling in respect to legislation,
Callback legislation.
tax, and we call it the callback government.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
We call it back.
The walk back government,
The
I
walk
think
back
somebody
government.
said.
You know, everything is being walked back, and so one person asked me the other day, Paul, wait, the DLP is using AI to run the government? I said, what do you mean? They're using artificial intelligence because they're not thinking, taking things to the furthest logical end in terms of craft.
BLP.
The BLP, the
Yeah.
BLP, the BLP. They're not taking things to the furthest logical end in terms of crafting legislation. So much so that the bottom is dropping out of it before it is even presented. You know, and we're seeing this, and we wonder. I don't think it's an accident. I just think they just really don't know what they're doing. I don't think that is an accident. I think they do. I could say that I could speak to the ministries that I believe have some level of improvement. I know what those ministries are. But generally speaking, the things that really matter to Barbadians, taxation, food, crime and safety, you know, and things like sports that develop community and build families and allow kids to run around and get healthy, lower the NCDs. Those critical things are being compromised. Having elderly people being able to socialize with other older people, play drafts, dance, sing, and so on. But we're having dementia levels to a level because our old people are not engaged. And when you have, we don't have an aging society in Barbados. We have an aged society, in Barbados, which means that the government has to put on a different hat in terms of managing the affairs of this country, in terms of what is happening with healthcare, in terms of dentures, pensions, or people's home in the long term, because there are going to be so many persons over 60 and 65 in a very short space of time, and you're building a geriatric hospital with just 200 rooms, with a population of over 250,000 people. There's a disconnect. Why is there apathy? Because of things like that. By the time the 150 rooms are filled at the new geriatric hospital, they will bring the 50 patients that are QEH lying on beds, and the place will be full in 6 months. They have not planned, they have not projected, they have not built enough for Barbados. And Barbados are feeling apathetic because of that. This government has dropped the ball. The ball has been dropped.
You talked about the Minister of Education. Well, they say education transformation now. You know, whenever you hear a government speaking in cliches, you know, at school the English teacher told us never use cliches. Try to avoid them as best you can. And you use a cliche when you have nothing to say, but you want to fill in a space. So you just use a cliche and it sounds good. And you're getting a lot of that from this government. It means that they don't know what they're doing. So just fill in some words. And I can tell you, a few weeks ago, they brought legislation to Parliament trying to make the office of Speaker independent, which he should be. I mean, you can't have a constituency representative in there judging arguments between people. And you know, they brought that legislation to make him independent. And they forgot that Parliament has two houses. The Senate, chambers. 2 chambers, the Senate and the House. And you know, they forgot to do the same thing with the President of the Senate. They absolutely forgot.
As Paul said, not thinking things
through.
So
that when I said it, the eyes open wide, as if to say, "Oh."
You said they are not thinking things through, or
they're not.
That person did not think.
Because
none of them are.
a law does not become law unless it goes to both chambers.
Yes, but no.
So they were concentrating only on the lower chamber, which is the House, but the legislation then has to go to the upper house, and there has to be a, let's call him a referee or an arbiter. There has to be an arbiter there as well. There's debate up there. So why make the lower house?
I understand all of that.
Why put an arbiter, an independent arbiter, in the lower house, and when the law gets to the upper house, that system is finished. And they I suspect they completely forgot. Nobody thought of it.
You keep using the word they. That's what I'm concerned about.
They.
It might not be a they.
Well, you don't go there. Don't go. You
understand?
Yeah. We know what's going on.
It's all of them though. They're all a cabinet, and the cabinet is not functioning properly. They drop the cabinet is dropping the
cabinet?
ball. I'm saying the cabinet.
He has a view of who is the cabinet.
No, I'm
But the collective cabinet has to be, and that means that all of them are in the
So
same.
when the cabinet goes overseas, what happens?
The cabinet travels overseas.
The cabinet
goes
travels
overseas.
The cabinet is closed.
So what does the furniture do?
I don't know. So you say that democracy is under threat?
Democracy.
Jason Phillips.
I'm asking. I'm asking for a friend.
Democracy is under threat.
I'm asking for a friend.
Let the voters answer that, because I think they know the answer to it.
Yeah.
Voters know the answer.
Another reason why we have this apathy, right? A lot of young people do not believe that they have a voice, that policies made by the government is not made in their favor. Right now in Barbados, a young person under the age of 35 smell hell to own a piece of land.
Right. Because I was going to tell you, having a voice has become a cliche. So let us say what we mean by that. They feel that the
politician
people in power
in Parliament, in the House of Assembly, are not making policy.
Well, they're not hearing them. They're not hearing.
You're not listening. That what you're saying?
They don't hear them, and that's why you get so much frustration among young people.
There's no reason why Barbadians cannot own a house in Barbados.
Well, they promise houses, and I don't like using lower income. They promise housing. They promise affordable housing.
Affordable.
They promise.
What is affordable housing?
Houses that.
You mean those things?
No. Affordable housing.
Affordable
is housing.
You can afford.
I know what affordable housing is.
But
what is their understanding of affordable housing?
Making $11.50 per hour.
Yes.
We actually have a sense of touching it.
They have a
or
right
reaching
to live.
it.
So that is why, Paul, we've been saying that housing, the provision of housing has to be a social service.
It has to be.
But when the time is right,
you create a society of disorder if a lot of people cannot find the dignity of a residence.
That happened in my constituency.
Did it?
It's in James
Well, talk
Central.
about your constituency.
In Lancaster, there was a large health fair, and thousands of Barbadians flocked to that area just across the street. Thousands. There were thousands of people. And they were signing up to own a piece of the rock in Lancaster. I will never forget that scene. The tents all over the place, the builders, the mock-ups of the houses and so on. And in one fell swoop, I remember Mr. Duguid announced in Parliament that they were going to change the business model for those low-income houses, and did some hocus pocus.
Yes.
And then the houses moved from affordable housing to over $300,000
and that is happening all the time.
They promised them that they were going to put solar panels and feed into the grid.
Yeah.
And
Joe,
didn't happen.
Never happened.
Right?
Never happened.
So what are we saying? Again, that is a plan. Again, that became stillborn, where Bajans had the opportunity and were passionate about their young 25 and 26-year-old young men and women getting a house, and it just went up in smoke.
So how then can you fault a young person if you promise him that he can own a house and the house is completed or the estate is finished and he can't afford it? So can you blame him? Can you blame him for being frustrated with the system?
No, you can't. It's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Just generally in Barbados, as we've said multiple times, it is a struggle to survive for many.
Yes.
I mean, you have to be making north of 6,000+, and even then it's a struggle, because what was a dominant thriving middle class is now officially the working poor.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's not just another cliche. That's for real, because you have folks struggling to make ends meet. The cost of fuel, the cost of electricity, the cost of groceries, the cost of car parts on these terrible roads that we have in this country. I mean, we're being killed by that. I remember very recently, November 18th, Minister Thorne pointing out that for this year so far, the first 6 months of this year, government took in $373 million more in tax revenue than they had planned.
373 million more.
January to June, government took in 373 million more in tax revenue than it had expected, than it had planned. Among youth, the spending outstripped.
I was going to
a
the travel.
significant part of that increased tax revenue is VAT, and more VAT.
Yes.
VAT is killing Barbadians.
Yes.
And
yes.
I note with interest recently the announcement of a further slight increase in the minimum wage. What did we see with that 2%?
Yeah.
What did we see with that earlier increase that we got? The cost of groceries, goods and services in the countries go up.
That's right.
What do you think will happen when a further 2% is added? That will continue. If you really want to help Barbadians with the cost of living, reduce the value added tax.
Yes. And
reduce the value added tax. It's that simple.
That is one of our proposals. We're not going to give a figure, Jason. Jason's been forcing me to give a figure.
No.
Please don't force me, Jason. But one of the proposals of the Democratic Labour Party is to reduce VAT and put spending power in the hands of Barbadians. We're going to give you a figure at some point in time. The government has promised for the last 7 years. The government promised 7 years ago to reduce VAT. They have not done it. We are saying that the new Democratic Labour Party government will reduce VAT, and we will give you the figure when the time comes.
Excellent.
Challenge the government to say whether they will reduce it. They have not said. And too many of their sycophants in the media are accusing us of not having made proposals. We've made several proposals. We've made proposals in relation to the control of crime.
Yes.
We're making proposals in relation to putting spending power in the hands of Barbadians.
Yes.
This Democratic Labour Party commits itself to a reduction of that so that when Barbadians go to the supermarket, they have more money to buy more goods.
Well said.
Yeah,
Well
that is so, and that is a far more practical, realistic way of helping Barbadians with the cost of living. This nominal % increase in the minimum wage, I mean,
and as you say, Doc, the goods going up again.
They're going to go up, and what businesses quite often will do is increase the cost of their goods and services beyond the cost of the minimum wage increase to them. So that the little extra change that person's got isn't able to do anything for you. In fact, you're able to do less than you were able to, you could have done before. So it's a not a well thought out effort. Cost of living is high because of the level of taxation. The level of taxation is there because of the way they borrow, which I know is another discussion. Or we need to understand we are struggling in this country under heavy taxation because 76 cents in 2025. And I saw this from a local economist, 76 cents out of every dollar that the government receives goes towards paying tax. Leaving only 24 cents to spend on Barbados and the Barbadians. Right? Has a debt service ratio of 76%. That's why we are struggling as a country. Every time the Prime Minister leaves, she comes back with another loan. Just the last few days, 400 million line of credit
and a big travel bill,
and a whapping travel bill because she loves an entourage.
Over 100 million.
She loves an entourage. And remember, this is over 100 trips in about 80 months when you factor in COVID. So she brings back the gift. She comes back with is another loan. 20-year payback, 25-year payback. That my unborn grandchildren will have to pay. And we here are dealing with 76 cents out of every dollar in government revenue paying toward taxes. So things continue to be a struggle, and the government has gotten itself in the well talked about debt trap.
Well, look, we are going to have to continue prosecuting the government.
Oh yes.
And Doc, you talked about loans. We need to ask the government on behalf of the people of Barbados whether commissions are being paid on these loans.
Serious question.
Yes, it's a serious question, Jason. We took a $500 million loan a few months ago in Boston. I think they call it the Road Tour. And the minister said, I'm not defaming anybody, the minister said in Parliament that White Oak was present. White Oak has been advising the government, and it was White Oak, and this is part of the public record, White Oak advised the government to NIS, write off the NIS debt. The monies that government had owed NIS in the amount of $1.3 billion. Okay? It is the same White Oak, and I'm not defaming them, that got $27 million US, 54 million Barbados dollars for a debt restructuring, when Greece and countries larger than Barbados paid far less to the persons who had done that professional work. And the Financial Times of London criticized it and said that the fee was excessive. Ryan Strachan said in Parliament that White Oak went along on the road tour when they borrowed $500 million US. We don't have a Freedom of Information Act, but does this government not have a moral obligation to tell Barbadians how much is being paid off every loan to private individuals?
So people are benefiting off the backs of Barbadians?
Jason Phillips, you hear what I tell you?
That's an indictment on the government.
More than likely, I don't think they went to carry anybody's bikes. They're professionals.
And they don't work for free.
And they don't work for free as far as I know.
But why
And
can't the
Oyata
government?
said he could have done it for free.
He could have done it for free. He
Yeah,
said, I
that's what
remember he said that. Yes,
That's what he
yes.
said.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But I don't know why we are thinking that taxpayers are paying taxes on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, into the coffers of this country, and they believe that we don't have a right
Precisely.
to know where the
Yes.
people's
To know
money
it's going.
is being spent.
Precisely.
Does that make sense? When did we get there?
Yes,
The
yes.
people's money is the people's money. When did we get here?
And she felt she was doing us a big favor.
No, this is not
by
her
bringing
money.
her
No.
tickets
Yeah.
to Parliament. Look out, all of my tickets. This is the proof. You know,
Yeah.
she never told us the cost of this.
No, she never did. And I'll tell you one other thing. As much traveling as is happening across the globe by our Prime Minister
Our cabinet.
and our cabinet.
No.
I said
Our
our
cabinet.
cabinet.
Our cabinet.
Our cabinet.
Our cabinet.
Yeah, excuse me that, because a lot of people realizing what's really going on in that cabinet, right? You know that in September of 2025, we had an event called big event,
September 25.
2025.
Carry Festa.
Yeah, it was a Carry Fest event.
Carry Festa, yeah.
And many of the big businesses that gave lighting and wood and so on, a lot of them got paid.
They've been paid.
Do you know that the actual actors and dancers
Did
and
not.
singers that submitted bills as September 1st, a lot of them still have not been paid?
So that, Paul, when we tell Barbadians about unequal treatment,
Unequal
yes.
treatment,
here's the
apathy,
evidence.
apathy.
Yes.
In every area of government participation,
Yes.
you're seeing unequal treatment.
And,
yes, yes, Doc.
did I miss it? We still don't know how much was spent
We
on Carry
don't know.
Festa?
They
Still
haven't
don't
told
know.
And
They have not.
think
They
about
didn't
that.
tell us.
Think about that.
How many months after?
How do you plan an event? I'm assuming there was some kind of budget.
On
I'm
taxpayers'
assuming
money.
there was some kind of budget. Taxpayers' money is not your personal piggy bank.
No.
I'm assuming there was some kind of budget. And months later, you still can't tell us how much that event cost.
Or how much of that budget
How much you went over budget.
went over?
They
And
never
this is not
disclose
the
the budget
first time we
now.
have seen this, where it just seems to be hodgepodge. All right, make a decision here. All right, let's do this, do that. You don't think about the cost. We'll figure it out after.
Yes.
Except the taxpayers, we are footing that bill.
Precisely.
I mean, would you hire such an individual who operated like that to run any organization?
A
You run
CEO?
it to the ground, you'll be fired.
Yeah, a CEO that does that.
And to your point,
You'll
Paul,
be fired.
we need greater accountability. We need accountability about the monies borrowed in her name.
Precisely.
You know how much of these loans that I had to search deeply to find out about, and then you will see a signed contract, but we weren't told. Every once in a while, we are told something,
Yes, yes,
but
yes.
you'll find a signed contract, and you'll go on the website of the lending agency, and you'll see the information there, but we are not probably told. We certainly don't know when the drawdowns come in. Now, obviously, when you apply for a loan, you don't get all of the money at one time. You have drawdowns, you have meet conditions and so on. But we know nothing about that.
No, we don't.
But we know billions have been borrowed in our name, a lot of which, hundreds of millions, if not billions, have been received.
Yeah.
And what has been done with it?
That's the point. That's the point.
As far as I'm concerned, when I look at the state of Barbados, especially our
The
infrastructure,
infrastructure, the
we
roads.
are not getting value for the money that we have borrowed.
Is there any smooth road in Barbados? There's a competition, I understand, going where people are reporting the worst roads, and people are
Yes.
saying, no, we have the worst one. Bridgefield. Bridgefield.
Right now, St. Lucie is trying to say that they have worse roads than St. Peter.
Well, I'm told
I
that
think that-
Bridgefield is competing against the road from
Yes,
Charles
I know
Road Bridge
St.
to,
Thomas. Yeah,
and there's a
St.
road
Thomas
from
bad.
Charles Road Bridge to
And the other
North
night,
State.
I was driving in St. Peter and I came across a crater
a crater.
about the size. I mean, it took up the entire road. If you
St.
don't
Peter
know-
or St. Lucie?
St. Peter.
St. Peter.
I have a video of it. Not a light on the street to begin with,
Yeah.
and then a hole that you can put a truck in, a garbage truck.
That's expense to a driver.
Yes.
That's busted tires, fractured
I know
ribs.
about that.
That's
Right?
death.
Yeah, you're right. And,
That was the hole that was dug in the ground and left.
yes, yes. So in the reality, people say why not vote for the BLP? I mean, we have been prosecuting. I think the Democratic Labour Party has been doing a very good job in spotting a bright, shining light on the significant areas that Barbadians are concerned about. And I think we've done a good job with crime. As a matter of fact, I want to celebrate the Democratic Labour Party, for creating a document, a crime-solving document, and presenting it to the ministry, and the vote of the PISA and the team, Bertie Hines, if they only use that document, crime will go down exponentially in Barbados.
But don't they have a national, some crime advisory commission they've been meeting?
Well, again, we talk about accountability. We talk about affordability, which is one big headache. Accountability.
But I can bet you that advisory council has not met.
I don't think, I'm not aware that.
Have you seen any minutes?
No. And again, they are acting on the behalf of the taxpayers of this country.
Precisely.
Why can't we see minutes of such a meeting? I mean, you don't want to give the more granular details as to what they discussed because you're talking crime prevention. But at least, did you have a meeting? Let us know.
We need to remind Barbadians of something they've probably forgotten. You remember the chairman resigned?
Yes.
The chairman resigned.
And
Professor Belman Newton, unstated reason?
Yes.
But did I also mention that the Democratic Labour Party created an actual document?
Yes, you did.
Well, we cannot let that go. I want Barbados to know that we are not sitting down, folding our hands, and
We've been very proactive.
We've been very proactive. I think this is the type of thing that Barbadians are looking for. Not only do we have high crime, but we are given a booklet with tangible, useful solutions to solving the problem. And the government at this time doesn't appear to be using it.
And importantly, costing of those solutions, how they could be funded, was also included.
Costing was included in that.
Right.
That's beautiful stuff, man.
I wanted to come back, Doc, to cost of living, and you mentioned. Look, this is
Yes,
this is it here.
Well put together.
Yes.
This is it there.
This
is it here.
This will heal Barbados' crime.
Blueprint
Yes,
to rescue a nation.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Doc was mentioning. You can have a look, Paul.
Yes.
Doc was mentioning the situation with VAT and the increase in the minimum wage, and that it goes up and then the goods increase correspondingly.
Yes, possibly.
I started to think of our price control department. We still have price control around here because it used to be a government department. I believe it still exists. So price control is supposed to do just that. Control prices. So that, Paul, let us undertake that a new Democratic Labour Party government will activate, and if it is not working, reactivate price controls, because that would avoid the situation of which you spoke about.
Only 2 days ago I was in the supermarket, and a particular item, not going to call the item of the supermarket, that we would buy, I saw it in that supermarket for $17.95. And only last week I saw it in another location for $13. 13. So
$4.
$5 different. The exact same item that is made here in Barbados. One place is selling it for $13 and the other place is selling it for $18.
I've done better than you because I buy a certain product. I'm not going to say the name because I want the price to remain low where I get it. It's $20 cheaper in a certain place than a certain other place. And I am not telling you this because you're going to tell me. No, I'm not telling you off air either. Because you will go down St. Peter and do a video. And the price will go up where I get it. But it is $20 different. Jesus. $20.
What is that again?
I'm not telling you.
So we have so the price culture too?
Remember, many persons aren't in a position where they can drive around. And even the driving around, you have to.
The roads are too bad.
In fact, I pointed out to my children recently, I remember when we used to be able to drive and see lights in Barbados. We would leave St. Philip and drive as far as St. Lucie, roundabout nearby the Bars Church, and
it used
stop
to be a
here, stop there. Oh yes. I ain't foolish enough to do that now. Gas is too expensive.
And between the gas,
is too expensive. And the bad roads.
And the bad roads.
You cannot do that now.
You forgot that the highways don't even have lights too?
Really?
In large sections, of course.
Yes.
Which leads me to, I want to ask you, gentlemen, are Barbadians happy? Generally, are Barbadians happy?
Barbadians are
Do Barbadians sit on their side step and chat like they used to? Or if they're talking about crime,
Barbadians are
high
fed up
prices.
with the management of this country.
But I'm using a simple word, Jason.
No.
They happy? Your videos don't speak of happiness.
Some
They're happy
people
to
say
see you,
no.
and they're happy for the prospect that you'll become the representative.
A lady told me recently, she'd been in England for a while, and she said that she cannot recognize Barbados.
Cannot.
The crime, the cost of living,
Yes.
you know, the poverty. We don't want to say it because you don't want to speak ill of your own country, but people are really finding it hard. Some light bills are, people have to pay light bills.
When
in
people
Tucson.
gather, not we gathering, you see people liming, they're playing dominoes, playing cards, or just liming. I ask if they're happy because you will judge that by the content of their conversation. And what are they talking about?
A fellow told me
They're talking about crime.
A fellow told me this week that things have gotten so expensive he learned to adapt.
He learned to adapt.
Adapt.
He thinks he's adapting.
I tell him no.
He's not.
You have to
It is
get
too
a
stressful.
government that works in your best interest. And when you have a government that do not make policies in your interest, you have to get rid of that government.
Well, let us tell people then we're on voting why they should vote for the Democratic Labour Party. We've already said that we're going to reduce VAT. We've already said that we're going to take to the House legislation that will confront crime, because this government has been soft on crime, and we know why.
Yes.
We know why, but we're not going to say here. But we know why. None of us is on speed dial, so let's leave that alone. But
You know, opposition comrade leader, we were at a church on Sunday.
oh, beautiful service.
Beautiful service.
Talk
And
about the sermon.
I'll talk about what I want to take us back there to show. There were 4 signs coming from the roof, and it's Advent.
Oh yes. I
Yeah,
was looking
there
at
was
those signs,
hope,
yeah. Yes.
there was peace,
Yes.
there was joy, and there was love.
You have an excellent memory, Paul.
You know, thank you.
You're a
Right.
preacher yourself, you know.
He's the man of the cloth.
No.
Look, Paul,
I'm a servant.
Paul,
That's all I
Paul,
do. Serve
when we did our church service this year, sorry to interrupt you, but I want the public to know the quality of man that they have in St. James Central. You were our worship leader.
Thank you.
And you won a lot of hearts that day. They hadn't seen this side of you. You
Okay.
knew that Paul was a worship leader.
No, he did not.
You missed the church service when he did the worship leadership.
Probably.
And he sent me a little recording of this song, which I hadn't gotten before, so I could listen to it and work out the key. And he started in key.
And you were a keyboard.
Yes, I was on keyboard, and he started
Thank
in
you
the
very
right
much.
key.
Yeah,
This is a wonderful party.
That was a wonderful party.
But I interrupted you, Paul.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
okay.
go.
That's
Go
okay.
on.
No, I remember that's Bishop Robert Rogers, Canon Rogers, as he was sharing. I saw the sign hope, peace, joy, and love.
Yes.
And when you ask, comrade leader, what are Barbadians feeling and looking for?
Yes.
I really believe that this is the vision that Errol Barrow had. No, I will call Errol Barrow's name because people call George Washington's name and Abraham Lincoln's name,
Yes,
and they remember the legacy and the contribution
And
that
the
they
legacy
made.
is alive.
Right, and so it's just 60-something years, and Errol Barrow's vision is still alive, which is a Barbados where, and I love to say this, he would have seen poor people hungry with chiggers in their hair, picking palm grass and cutting cane, and struggling. Barbadians walk around with ribs because there was just not enough food to eat. Meat was a rarity.
Yes.
Eating pigeons and so on was something that was very common. In the 60s, yes, people, there wasn't a lot of meat and so on available. So people ate a lot of bread kind and breadfruit and yam and so on. That's all they could eat. But he saw a Barbadian that was happier, a Barbadian that with houses big enough, because there were times when 10 and 12 people would be sleeping in a small house. Yeah? And Elbar saw this and wanted to change this.
To elevate the society.
He wanted to elevate the society.
Yes.
And this is the type of thing that the Democratic Labour Party is known for. Elevating a society.
Social services.
Even after 2027, 28, when we had the worst economic crisis handed to Barbados by the world system. After Anderson closed, people were jumping through windows, murdering themselves because the whole economic system was fractured. And the Democratic Labour Party were the ones guiding the process through that. But The point is that we always are about trying to stabilize things. So nurses are able to still buy cars and travel under Democratic Labour Party, and travel and take care of their families, paint their homes, and so on. Now people are taking their eyes off of those things, which is a raised standard, to saying, how am I going to eat? And then they are looking to buy locks, grills, and protection for their homes, alarms, extra lights, feeding dogs, and so on, because of a crime situation that they didn't bring on themselves, but that was introduced by society. And I do believe that this book, this is a very, very important document here. I take pride, Comrade Leader. I see your words in here, and I saw how they delineated the technology and the statistics and so on to come up with this document. All of the bar charts and so on. It's not a whimsical, weak document. This is a substantive document, and this is what the Democratic Labour Party is about. We can give this to the country and say, heal yourself, heal thyself, if only the government would take it and utilize it.
Yes.
So Barbadians are looking for hope. Barbadians are looking for joy. Barbadians want peace.
Yes.
And more than anything else,
The greatest
if they
of all.
love each other, the greatest of all is that
Greatest of
if
all.
they love each other, they won't be killing each other and stabbing each other, because love will address that. And I think this is the feeling that is in the Democratic Labour Party. This is what we are pushing out into the space,
Oh, yes.
and this is what's happening among us. We are building back and really loving and living in hope and joy among ourselves. This is what we want the rest of Barbados to have.
Well, let's tell Barbadians what happened within the last 2 weeks of the Democratic Labour Party's life. First of all, the gala dinner. Who made it? You were there.
I was
We were all
there.
Let's
we were
talk
all
about
there.
it.
The
Let's
food
talk
was
about it.
tasty.
We met Shirley there, as I said in the opening. Shirley from Canada. We're so happy to see you. Let's talk about the gala dinner. Let's tell Barbadians about
Yes.
the life that is the Democratic Labour Party.
First and foremost, the auditorium was filled to capacity.
And some people were outside.
Yes.
Yes.
It was filled.
People were well dressed. The food was lovely.
Uh-huh.
I would know.
It was really good, you know.
was.
The food really was good. It was a classy event.
Yes. And a lot of people from St. Peter came.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, I saw your table.
My table, I was invited to that table.
Well, I call it your table.
I remember my constituency won the prize, by the way. The hotel thing. I'm very proud of that.
Okay.
You know, so we were
Oh, he's a good guy.
St. James Central.
And then
He went to school in St. Peter, though.
Okay, all right. Yes, you have that one.
Yeah, was that the school?
That's right. That's right.
let's talk about Sunday.
Yes.
How we got there. Let's start at the beginning.
Yes. Who wants to go first?
I don't think Elvis was on it.
I came afterwards because I was at my assembly.
Will you talk about the trip up, Paul?
I thought.
I think you sat near the
Yeah, it was very, very close to you. And you know, I saw the Democratic Labour Party with seats and moving. I saw all of the candidates for all of the different constituencies sitting, walking onto that bus,
Yes.
taking their seats in their beautiful blue jackets and yellow ties, and sitting and conversing in peace,
Yes.
in harmony, purposefully, and really in a very cordial collage of men and women knowing what the vision and focus is for this party. And we were all on our way to church.
And the 4 words apply to us.
And the 4 words applied. The bus was filled with hope.
Yes.
The bus was filled with peace.
Good morning. I speak with honor and humility on behalf of the Democratic Labour Party. I acknowledge Canon John and Reverend Stewart. We come not to defile sacred space with political messages. Today we are grateful to the Canon, and we feel indebted to him for reminding us that voices in the wilderness relate not only to geographical and physical spaces, but that it is a moral space, and it is a moral space that involves telling the truth. And while the church leads us to higher salvation, our political voices always intend to lead us to a place of justice. And Canon John, we are so grateful to you today for reminding us of the universal value of truth in opposition and in government. Because if we tell the truth in opposition and we don't tell the truth in government, we fail not only ourselves, but we fail a nation. Because we are about change and developmental change. And I want to assure this parish church that ours is a mission of change. And I will close by expressing gratitude. You may not have any idea what you have done for us as a party. This wonderful group of young people who are our candidates, you've done so much for us here this morning by accommodating us. This Democratic Labour Party extends to all of you a very happy Christmas, a very safe Christmas, and a God-filled Christmas. We thank you.
Beautiful words.
And that is the message that we bring to Barbadians, what we've made of ourselves as a party.
Yes.
We've gone through some really rough spots. And dark like the diamond. You know, when they find the diamond, it is
Rough,
in heat,
dirty.
it's rough, and it's dirty.
Yeah.
And this Democratic Labour Party has had the experience of the diamond. The diamond is formed in great heat. And we have emerged from it, we've polished ourselves, and we are looking. I want to say thanks to you, gentlemen, and to the ladies, Felicia and Dawn and Amoy. You were there, Doc.
I got there, before your comments, and I particularly, appreciate what we heard there at the beginning, that we will not violate this sacred space.
Yes, with political
messaging.
We never do.
It is a particular concern for me. I hate to see it. I hate to see it. The pulpit being used for political messaging, and far too often I've seen that in recent years. So I particularly appreciate that position that you took. Your comments were apolitical. I thought they were spot on, and they were what the party and the country needed to hear from the Democratic Labour Party, that these sacred spaces will be respected when we go to them.
Yes, and we want to thank Canon Rogers.
Yes.
I mean, it was a high quality sermon.
Oh, yes.
And he taught me something. Well, he taught me at Codrington College, as I said, in 2010. But he spoke about the concept of the voice in the wilderness. And we always thought it was some geographical or physical place. But he said the voice in the wilderness is also a voice that is saying unpopular things. It is speaking the truth.
Yes.
The truth that is often unpopular. And I thought that was so...
That was beautiful.
It was beautiful to hear that a voice in the wilderness is not only about the physical wilderness, but it is when you dare to speak truth to power, that yours becomes a voice in the wilderness. But that you must persevere and continue to speak truth in opposition, and as he said, in government as well, so that your message is consistent. You do not resile from the truth. You do not withdraw from truth when you become a government, because too many people become government. And
they forget.
And they forget how they got there.
So that contributes, as we were saying earlier, to the significant voter apathy that exists. People have seen it over and over. Just tell persons what they want to hear. You get in, and then you do what you feel like. And as a party, we absolutely have to and commit to not doing that. And I would challenge the people of Barbados to hold us and any government
to a higher standard.
To a higher standard and to our word. Right? The days of throwing blind support behind anyone just because of who they are, those need to be in the rearview mirror. Because look at what is happening in Barbados right now. It's a struggle. We have to hold our elected officials, who are paying themselves quite handsomely, by the way, we have to hold them to account. Accept no double standard and hypocrisy. I mean, not that long ago, the PM would have accused the former PM of having too large a cabinet. And traveling too much. Traveling too much.
There we are.
And in 9 years as PM, he didn't travel a quarter as much as the current PM has traveled.
Every week and one half.
She's on the island, and we have no idea where she is.
We don't know.
I'm old enough, and I said this to someone recently, I'm old enough to remember when Barbadians were given the courtesy and the decency of knowing when our Prime Minister has left and on what business.
Precisely.
We only find out, by the way, when we hear Acting PM Sandra Bradshaw, Acting PM
if you're here,
Dr. Dugan, if we hear. We are not told. And then a few days or weeks later, we'll see in the media about another loan.
Or another award.
How does that help and benefit Barbados? We have among the highest cost of living in the world, and as I point out to persons, isn't just the highest cost of living, we also have among the lowest purchasing power. What I was speaking about earlier in terms of how far a dollar goes. In reality, that $1 in Barbados doesn't go very far. That is our reward for our Prime Minister traveling all over the place.
You call it something poor. What do you call it? The
Purchasing power.
No, the poor.
The working poor.
The working poor.
Yeah. There was a time when the
poor.
middle class could save and
Yes.
you could survive. You could go on a little vacation here or vacation there. You can't do that now. Persons in the middle class, 5,000, 6,000 a month, are struggling for all of the reasons that we're talking about.
Yes.
And that have really come to the fore under this administration that believes in a top-down approach.
Yes.
That if we can get debt to GDP looking a certain way, and we can get big contracts going, that somehow the wealth is going to trickle down. How has that been working out for us? It's
Well,
not.
I had asked y'all a question as to whether Barbadians are happy. I would answer it myself. I don't think Barbadians who knew happiness, I don't think they're happy now. There's a lot of social tension. There's the fear when you leave home. What am I going to meet? Look at last night. That was a shop. I mean, a shop used to be such a peaceful place.
Hang
A lot
out,
of people
chill
used to
with the
hang out in the
boys.
village shop.
Yeah.
The village shop, you would see a little man sitting down in the corner.
I remember
And
when we used
somebody's
to
over
hang
the
out on the
counter.
corner of the street.
Precisely.
8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and you didn't worry about catching a
Doc,
stray
I want
bullet.
to challenge you. Find a village shop that still has the counter that you could lean on it. And that's so significant. They all have these barricades now. I think there's one shop in Barbados left. You know the counter. The old counter
the
used to
counter
hold
shops,
all the
yeah.
groceries.
Yeah.
I think there's
We
only
still have one
shop.
in Church Village.
You have one in church. Well, that's
Yeah.
two. There's one in Lodge Road.
Maps still has a open counter. I think.
You
that's
sure?
one.
Not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
It's becoming a temporary pass, though.
Yeah,
It is,
Yeah, because of the
Because-
security situation.
Yeah, and that is an aspect of the village culture that has
I
been
also
lost.
remember the
People used to
moonlight
hang
walk.
out in the shop.
You remember the moonlight walks? Moonlight walks.
Yeah,
walks.
yeah. Yes, actually, people used to during the holiday,
Yeah, moonlight
and
walks.
especially at this time of year, people would go on walks
Yeah, at night.
at night. At night.
You know, I just recently remembered leaving Coverley. A lady was leaving Coverley, and as she was leaving, going up towards the direction of the St. Philip, somebody jumped in the road. These guys jumped in the road, took her out of the car, and took her car, and she had to stop them and say, "No, give me the baby, give me the baby."
Really?
Yes,
In Barbados?
Yes.
How long
yes.
ago was this?
This was this would have been about 90 days or so ago. Between 90 days and 100.
That's why I asked Paul, are we
Yeah.
happy? Are we
Yeah.
a happy
Yeah,
population?
because but if it is happening in pockets like this, there are many things that we are not aware of, and sometimes I'm wondering if the government is smothering what is really going on in the police stations and across Barbados. If the reporting is really as accurate, because
Well, to
I'm
be
sure.
fair- To be
Yeah.
fair, sometimes you don't want to alarm people by
The
giving
alarmists.
them every last
Yes.
story.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it would make people unhappy. It keeps
Yes.
people on edge.
Yes,
But
but,
at the
it
same
is the
time,
reality.
it
It's
is
the
the
lived
reality.
reality of
Yeah,
Barbados.
yeah.
And so we need to turn that cycle back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk about this. We
Yeah.
need to turn the cycle back. And the Democratic Labour Party has the capacity. We've demonstrated it.
Yes. We've
Right?
demonstrated.
We've demonstrated
I mean,
it.
this is about work ethic.
Yes, this is what work ethic is about. Solutions. It's about looking at the numbers and putting your laser on where the challenges are and addressing the issues. In healthcare, we know what is happening in healthcare. There's a reason why people are dying in the A&E department at the level from, metabolic acidosis. You shouldn't be dying from that in 2025, right? Because we have issues with bedboard management. How you rotate beds in a hospital to keep people moving out of A&E on towards.
But this government encourages a feeling that we cannot do better.
Yeah,
And that if we do better, they've done us a favor. Take roads, for example.
Yeah.
Most people who want a road, when it is repaired, we feel that the government has done us a favor.
Yeah, no, that's their responsibility.
It's their
Thank you.
responsibility.
A road is a
And you've
responsibility.
been given the money for it.
Yes.
Precisely.
Right.
Yes.
Precisely.
I remember when the road tax was replaced.
Yes.
And the alternative has been a cash cow government.
Oh, yes.
But they still need to borrow when road works need to be done.
Precisely.
Mill and Pave has
that's
been a disaster.
That's been a
It's
disaster.
disaster.
Horrible.
The difference in philosophies between the parties and the approach is that this government seems to think that if we take care of the top, that eventually enough crumbs will trickle down. Let's give the occasional gesture here, gesture there, fat here, fat there,
Yes.
and the bottom will be okay.
Yes. No.
How is that working out for us? It is not working out for us. It is not working out for us. Whereas the Democratic Labour Party has traditionally and going forward, we definitely have to commit for building our society bottom up.
Yes.
Up,
Yes.
Bottom
Yes, indeed.
We ask ourselves the question, what is the issue? And then we begin to fix the issue. We're not about drama, song, music, and lights.
Revelry.
No, we're about what is it that helps Barbadians to
Real
be in a
organic
better
work.
place. Real organic work is actually governing a country, not doing a show. Because everything was being given to
A show.
NCF.
A show.
Yeah. Manage your NCF. Bring some lights.
Yes.
Bring some tents.
Yeah. Feel good.
Feel good.
You remember
Feel good.
at Lloyd Erskine Sandyford, the education transformation, show that they
Sure.
had up there.
Yeah.
Wash of money spent. Where is
Yeah.
that now?
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes.
And transformation, as I always say, a caterpillar goes from being a caterpillar to becoming a butterfly. It's a metamorphosis. It's a complete change. It's a complete transformation.
Yes.
That's not what's needed with the education system in Barbados. We have a very good foundation on which to build. And what you have to do is tweak what you have. You know where the gaps are. You need to fix those gaps. We know that there are people that are slower learners. They're not slow learners. They are slower. They'll catch up eventually. We know there are people that are dyslexic. There are people that have, I keep forgetting this thing all the time, they're on the spectrum.
Autism.
The autistic spectrum. And there are resources and so on that could be put to those groups of people. Numeracy and literacy focus, and make sure that we are bringing them into the sciences, STEM and STEAM, and making sure that those issues are being addressed by education, not what is being done by Chad Blackman right now. It's not working, and we are continuing to fail our students at that primary level. So
Yes.
we talk about health, we're talking about crime, we're talking about supermarket, we're talking about education. The things that are critical to the critical pillars of building any society, any society, are those critical pillars.
Yes.
What is happening with them? They are right now crumbling.
Yes.
And they were thinking of creating a cancer treatment plant, and we're happy for that. But let's go back to the basic things of polyclinics that function properly.
Yes.
At that basic, do they have adequate nurses? Do they have adequate drugs? Do you have the right quantum of doctors to see the patients? Are there enough? Is there enough equipment for dressings and vaccinations and so on? The basic things that keep.
Jason is staring at you because he wants you to talk about adequate hours.
Adequate hours.
Yes.
Open it for adequate hours in St. Peter and St. John and even St. Vincent Scott Polyclinic.
And Randall Phillips, I put your case around.
One of the tax
Randall Phillips.
concession given to a private facility with the promise that there will be some benefit to the public, to the public healthcare system.
Yes.
What of that?
Yes.
What of that? We never heard any details about it, and I suspect 10 years from now, we still won't know what those supposed benefits would be. A society that is built bottom up, is going to be stronger.
Yes.
It is going to be stronger.
Yes.
Top down doesn't work.
doesn't
A
work.
few
Top down never
persons
works.
in Barbados are doing better, have gotten wealthier, much wealthier, but a majority, a plurality of Barbadians
Yes.
are not doing that well.
The bottom is neglected.
The bottom has been neglected, and that's why society is crumbling.
crumbling,
That's
yes.
why crime is
Yes.
spiraled out of control.
Yes, of
And that's
course.
why everything is a hustle.
Yes.
That's why people are working 2 and 3 jobs just
Correct.
trying to make ends meet and put a little food on the table
Yeah.
for the children.
Yeah.
Right? Barbadians have been so debased under this administration.
I like that. Debase.
Debase.
They've been debased. Yeah, I like that term. We often talk to the diaspora, and a lot of the people in the diaspora watch this show. And we're still talking voting. I want us to encourage our people in the diaspora to come home and vote if they can. And to tell them, we were bringing Maxine tonight and Corey Greenidge. They have EBC experience, Electoral and Boundaries Commission experience, but unfortunately neither could be here. A person who lives in North America, for example, who is a citizen of this country. We need to remind them that they can vote. They can come home and vote. They recently drew up a list of 8,291. Our colleague Ainsley Granger, they listed him to be removed from the list. So if they remove Ainsley, I mean, you can imagine who they're removing.
Yeah.
They put dead people on it, and they put living people on it. And the living people they said were dead,
Moved up, took
and the
them
dead
off.
people they said were living.
Living,
But this happened, Elvis, because they asked a few postmen to do an enumeration. Now you should have hired some professionals, and not only asked them to do it, but they paid them,
They pay them.
and then told them, if you do it within a certain time, within quicker time than we've mandated, we're going to give you extra money. Again, transactions. To what expense? At the expense of people's rights. Because the list is defective.
Yes.
And they're trying to clean or correct the list while rushing into an election that is not due until 2027. But
correct.
we have to tell
Correct.
Barbadians that we're going to be ready. If they call it early next year, we're going to be ready.
Yes.
Trust us. But let us talk to the diaspora and tell the people in the diaspora to get in touch with the Electoral and Boundaries Commission if you're a citizen.
Because they have spoken of removing persons who have resided overseas for a certain number of years, removing those persons from the voting list. So
But
persons absolutely need to be in touch.
Need to be in touch and to come home and vote and to come home and preserve the Barbados that they left behind. Yeah, that's what we need to be telling people in the diaspora.
But
yes, Elvis.
the thing about a government that is willing to remove Barbadians from the voter list, but yet has a proposed citizenship bill that proposes to grant citizenship and full rights to persons who come to Barbados and have been here for as little as 9 months.
So we're banishing our citizens from
Yes.
the voting right
Who
list.
often repatriate significant funds to Barbados.
That's the point.
But
That's
someone
the
can
point.
come from the Caribbean and in 6 months they're citizen with full rights and entitlement. And someone can come from any corner of the world, Fiji,
Yes.
and 9 months in Barbados, and they
By
under that proposed
freedom of
bill,
movement business.
yes, they would be a full citizen. But
And-
our Barbadians in the diaspora, they want to get off the list.
And when we tell Barbadians to be aware and beware of this, the Prime Minister says that we're talking nonsense. But I will repeat again, it is my humble view that the government is planning to steal the election. And I'm not saying that to alarm Barbadians. We've seen the evidence, Elvis. We've seen how the machinations in terms of freedom of movement.
Yes.
That people can come here, people from the East, who have bought citizenship in Dominica, can use freedom of movement
Movement to
between
come to
Dominica
Barbados.
and here, and become a citizen here. And when you become a citizen here, you have the right to vote. I spoke of the man from Jamaica who's been here 8 months, well 9 now, and he says he intends to vote. Now he may not have the right under the law, but he says he intends to vote. And we know who he intends to vote for. He intends to vote for the host, the person who brought him here,
Yes,
and
who
presumably
made citizenship so easy.
precisely, precisely. Sandra Charles, I would love to vote. Sandra, tell us where you're from, though. If you're a Barbadian and you're on the list, look, get in touch, Sandra. Your last place of residence in Barbados. Communicate with any of our candidates. We gave out numbers last week and somebody contacted me.
Yes.
I gave out my number, 851-3766. Jason gave out his as well. Paul, you gave out yours as
I
well.
did, yes.
David was here last time. He
I can
gave
give
out
it- I
his.
can give it again.
Look, get in touch. Look,
Yes.
Barbadians, if you want to vote in Barbados and you live overseas and you're a citizen, get in touch with us. The number at this office is 310-5412. Get in touch with us and we will make the necessary connection with the Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The problem with that, Elvis, is that it seems as if the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, which used to be an independent constitutional body, people are now getting correspondence on behalf of the EBC from the cabinet
office.
From cabinet.
Cabinet office.
So separation of powers has disappeared in Barbados.
Yeah, I wondered when I saw that. I got that. I wondered.
Precisely.
I saw cabinet office. I mean, I'm
Cabinet
a constitutional
office
lawyer, not a
no
lawyer, but
business.
cabinet office has no business.
Has no business,
No business.
in a
whatsoever.
constitutional body. It's independent. The integrity of the office is preserved only when it is distant
But
from the government.
It's another example
cabinet.
of the brazen way with which our rules and norms and our guardrails have been burst through by this administration.
Precisely.
Don't care.
And I said a few weeks ago that I heard certain people talking about EBC and they were saying we. They were saying we about what we intend to do. And it was a government minister. A government minister cannot speak of the EBC and say we. The EBC is a separate constitutional body. It's like the courts.
Do you think they don't know?
I suspect so. I suspect that power overrides everything else. So when you have power, these things disappear. These barriers disappear. These
All the
barriers
ancient
between
walls
the
and-
government, yes,
Yes.
and these independent bodies disappear. So they can say we. It's like a monarch. We have a monarch in Barbados.
So that's also how you can disturb an Auditor General from his Sunday meal.
Precisely, you disturb him,
Okay.
or you ask a DPP
Yes.
to give account for what he is doing in
Yes.
the court, and the DPP should have no connection with the government.
Correct.
You mean that the government will be able to determine who is prosecuted in future? And that's why when we say to people that these constitutional traditions must be preserved,
Yes.
Yes.
it is not about a theory, it is about real life.
What we've been seeing for the last few
Yes,
years.
and it affects your life directly, and it can affect your life if the government has a part in the decision making as to who is to be charged. Who you think they're going to charge? Dr. Wickham?
Not their friends.
Not their friends,
And their
not
opponents.
family. There we are. So let us encourage our people in the diaspora
Is it true that?
to vote. I think she said she's in Trinidad.
Okay.
And Keith Moore, he's in Trinidad and he's coming home. The man in St. Vincent. Let's see what Lemuel Tull is saying. Lemuel is such a faithful viewer of this show. If they don't know if I am on the voters list, how do they know to send me that circular? That's interesting. A lot of logic there, Lemuel. Thanks as usual. Well, let me hear something good about myself. Great speech also, leader of the opposition. I see that she sees that I grew up in the church. Yeah, and I say proudly, Q Pilgrim Holiness Church back in the day, and then it became Q Wesleyan Holiness Church, and now it is Mount of Praise down the street, and my old church was bought by Power in the Blood.
Yes.
Yeah,
2 years.
and Andrew Cave, our man Andrew Cave is a member at Power in the Blood, our candidate for Christchurch West. Look, we have brought quality to the people of Barbados. We have brought people to candidacy, that's the word, Paul? Candidacy, who grew up among Barbadians, regular people,
God-fearing.
God-fearing, and people of accomplishment. Look at the doc here. Yeah, we brought good
Now you speak about the dog and his musical. I have to get it in before the
yeah,
time
he's a
goes.
keyboards man.
But I can play music too. And you have not mentioned that.
Which is your instrument?
I used to play any brass instrument or percussion instrument except the piano.
I saw you playing tambourine recently.
Yeah. But I used to play that professionally too.
Really?
In the Salvation Army.
Really?
Yes. And
What are your musical instruments again? Boss, man. Tell
I
the
am
people.
one of those. What I would tell Barbadians, because I want people to know this. I'm going to say this because
Sandra Charles is in Toronto. Hi, Sandra. Good hearing you. We hope to see you when elections come. We're expecting them early in the new year, by the way. Yes, back to your musical instruments.
you crossed me on purpose.
No, we had to talk to Sandra. The diaspora is very important to this show.
Listen to
We
me.
have reached out, really. This show has reached beyond these physical shores.
Yes.
Okay, I can hold that thought for another time.
No.
No, I don't
Musical
hold that thought.
instruments.
No, I can hold it for another time.
But we want Barbadians, we want St. Peter people to know they have a rounded Barbadian down there.
No,
Who can play road tennis.
Somebody in St. Peter can defend me for you. Know?
You know my family's from St. Peter too.
I was told so last
Yeah,
time.
my father.
I was told so.
My aunt is from there.
So you're a piece of St. Peter.
I'm a piece of St. Peter man too.
Okay.
And my mother is from St. Andrew. St. Simon's. Be
Okay.
proud of these things, you
You're
know.
a Northman.
Yeah, I'm a piece of North. Where are you from?
I thought you grew up in
I'm from Brighton, Deacons Road, Black Rock. That's my area.
You
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're a town man.
Yes.
You
Yes.
from
And
town?
then- yes.
I was going to
Yes.
say you're from town.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
hard and soul to say Phillips.
St. Phillips,
Phillips,
yeah,
yeah,
Chapel
yeah.
Land, St. Church
Chapel
Village,
Land.
St.
Deacons
Philip,
Road. Deacons Road. That's my. I just celebrate how many good people come from the Black Rock St. Michael area. Leaders in this country, and I think
Seymour Nurse.
Seymour Nurse. I mean, we can go all the way back. Our own Maxine McLean,
Yes,
Derek Ali,
McLean family, Derek,
Mr. Maskell,
Yes.
he's on the other side.
Yeah,
But
Clive.
the fact of the matter is that our system was supposed to do this,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Supposed to allow
That was part of the
the people in the
barrier.
lowest body rung to come up,
Yeah.
to come up higher, and that is the Democratic Labour Party dream, and we want to continue to do that.
Yes.
Continue to bring
Yes.
people up, So musicians like my friend
I
here.
used to be a musician.
It's
I don't practice anymore.
like riding a bicycle.
Music will embarrass you if you don't practice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
It's
You
true.
better practice.
It's better
You better
practice.
practice.
So you're not going to disclose these musical instruments?
Oh, yeah, I used to play brass. I used to play cornet, trumpet,
Really?
mainly, yeah.
So
I
why
used to
hiding
play
right
surgeon.
under bushel?
No, because I decided to share that because, in fact, no, I'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
Time is gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Let's
Wow.
get one more message, Director. A good one. Yes, we need to get Shirley, you're back in Canada and you're talking to us. We need to get the young people to attend church. They need God in their lives, and we are unapologetic about our faith.
Yes.
Even as politicians, people expect that politicians are Elvis, that they're bad people and they're just cunning and they're just interested
there's
in power.
some who believe that if you are serious about your faith, you should have nothing to do with politics. That the two aren't consistent.
Precisely.
I clearly hold a different view.
Precisely.
It's really certainly the Christian faith is making a mockery of that faith. If you believe that the blood of Jesus can heal the sick, raise the dead, and do all of that, but can't keep you pure in politics.
Yes. And on Sunday we spoke about the similarities between the political and the pastoral, both about service.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Service.
that we are unapologetic about being people of faith. We don't force it on people. We don't impose it on people.
Their choice.
But
We understand service.
Yeah.
we
And that's
understand
what it
service.
is. A
Whether
minister-
as pastor or politician.
But
we understand
the word
service.
minister means servant.
Servant.
There we
So
are.
if you're a prime minister, you're the primary servant, or a minister, an MP, you are a servant of the people.
You are our resident linguist tonight.
Well, thank you very much. In pharmacy, we do a lot of Latin, so forgive me. But it is important to remember that is a bottom-up thing where you serve, you're down here and you're serving people above you. Not the other way, where you're not just be stamping on people and belittling people.
Jason, you wanted to give some parting words. I saw you leaning forward.
No, I
We
was-
were just admiring Paul's
Yeah,
linguistic
I was saying that my
skills.
first degree is in philosophy.
Really?
And, yeah.
Okay.
And tonight he's really.
You did this at UE
Yeah, well, yeah, I did.
as part of the Barrow prescription for education
Listen
to all
to me.
in this
There's a
country.
lot of things about me.
Okay. All right. Hold it.
Good
For the
things.
time being. One
Good
more
things.
message. That's Esther Blue telling us something there.
Excellent presentation.
As usual,
As
and
usual.
Thanks to the producers. Yeah. Thanks to we can call the names of the producers.
Yes, of
Thanks,
course.
Brenda. David Boeing, Melissa Howard, and Mr. St. Andrew himself, your neighbor, Ramon Goodman. He leaves. Look, he canvasses St. Andrew on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, every day, I think.
I would know.
And he leaves and he comes on this show.
I would know. He would tell you. He would tell you the story.
Hold your secrets. Hold your secrets. So that is our technical staff: David Boeing, Melissa Howard, Ramon Goodman, really dedicated
yes.
behind the scenes.
Oh, yes.
For this show, for the sake of the show. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. It's been a real pleasure. You did this at short notice. We were supposed to be looking at the legislation pertaining to voting in Barbados. Corey could not make it. Maxine could not make it, and at very short notice, you wonderful you were supposed to come in any event, Elvis.
Yes. Yeah.
But you wonderful gentlemen filled in and filled in beautifully.
We are always ready to serve the good people of Barbados.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So, viewers, thanks very much. God bless. See you on Tuesday with the young people and Thursday next week with the big people. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
How you getting this? We all in this with Ralphie. Plus we all in this with Ralphie. Yeah, one vision, one people, one destiny. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yeah. Yeah. We all in this with Ralphie. Yeah. Yeah. He crossed the floor not for fame or glory. He crossed the floor to rewrite the story. to set things right. From Christchurch East to St. Lucie, everybody know he stand for we. He watch them laws, line by line. He said follow the law, not the head lady. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yeah, we all in this with Ralphie. Yeah, one vision, one people, one destiny. We all in this with Ralphie. He crossed the floor to unite the country. So everybody sing in harmony. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. Hey, hey. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. Hey, hey, hey. He said to the house, how you getting this? Watching the chaos, parliament in a twist. One member while another talk too fast. Ralphie step in makes sense last. The people laugh, they clap, they grin. Cause Ralphie sharp, he know how to win. The law and logic, he keep them tight. He bring order to the parliament fight. Hey, R-A-L-P-H-I-E. We all in this with Ralphie. R-A-L-P-H-I-E. Stand up tall for unity. He tell the PM you head the cabinet, not the state. So respect the law before it's too late. The legal business done on the floor, not in your mind behind closed door. He cool, collected, full of class. He use the facts and bust up, she bubble fast. He shaving down falsehood, clean and neat. Ralphie drop logic on every seat. Tourism built it, build now this new move. Free movement by imagination to prove no legislation to pass immigration gate. Yet you telling visitors come citizens wait. Ralphie say hold on, let's get it straight. Law before limelight, check the man take. He watching close, he people clap. Cause Ralphie catching every trap. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. One vision, one people, one destiny. We all in this with Ralphie. He crossed the floor to unite the country. Now everybody sing in harmony. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. We all in this with Ralphie. Yes, we all in this with Ralphie. Hey, hey, hey. We all in this with Ralphie. 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 Hey, hey, hey. When the bells start twist and spin, Ralphie stepping again. When imagination start on the stage, Ralphie pull it straight. Are you getting this? We all in this with Ralphie. Persians, hear me now. If I Errol Barrow could talk today, I got something to say. Why? Raise your flag, but open your eyes. If I Errol Barrow had to speak today, what I see would break my heart away. Nothing changed, just a mirror frame, same corruption, just a brand new name. My people, I'm sad to say, you reaping all you sow today. The pride and industry fade away, and now we fighting to find we way. Life at two extremes, I tell you so. Hope and hunger, high and low. Poverty mixing with champagne flow, but poor man still can't grow. Suffering and celebrating, starving while them still partaking. Nations rise, time to break that spell. Stop showing contempt for yourself. Say you can't change when thieves lead the way. Corruption sweet when give us pay, and government take what poor man lay. Taxation high like mountain peak, while schools and roads still spring a leak. Them flying high, them living sleek, but poor man vice